So I'm going to show you how super forecasting and game theory helped me in the last 2 or 3 days. And so while I was waiting on something to come through, I went over here and did some work. Well, I did some Uber, did a full day of Uber, came over here and did some flooring on that house there. And so I'm going to show you what happened. So it started on a Wednesday, I think. There was a bunch of gossip and he said, she said, and just all kinds of chaos started on Wednesday. And then went to pick up a rent from somebody, and I walk up and they say, oh, I had car trouble. Can we do a payment plan? And I said, yeah, I'm glad you are being proactive about it, talking about a payment plan. Most of it was paid, but not all of it. So then I started seeing some other spiritual attacks going on, and then had this other renter who was usually pays early but didn't, so I knew something was up. So I sent a message saying, I sent a picture showing how my banking system was set up and it was working, just to make sure that it was not on my end, just in case. And I got the text back, it's not working. I'll do a money order. And about 8 years ago, I had a renter, and she was always playing games. She said, I put the money order in the mailbox. And I said, it ain't here. It's not there. You can check it and see if it's been cashed. I didn't cash it. I never received it. So I thought, I need to let this person who's not using the banking system who's going to do a money order, I'm just going to let it play out and see if this person follows through. See if they try to play the same games that I've seen in the past. So a lot of times they'll play all kinds of games and don't realize you're going to evict them, and a lot of times they'll test you and say, you put them through the eviction and they say, oh, I'm sorry, here's the money. Put you through a lot of stress that ain't even worth it. So what I did is, waiting on that to go through, I said, I'm gonna do some ride share all day, and after I do catch my quota, then I'm gonna go finish that floor I started. Not finish it, but start working on that floor. And right when I was getting ready to close it up, I got the text showing the money order going in the mailbox. Now, how I'm using game theory is I said, okay, and also super forecasting. I thought, okay, so I've seen this in the past, these patterns, and I've seen the games. You see games everywhere, hospitality, apartments, restaurants, people play these games, And so I said, okay, so I used has this person paid on time for quite a while? Yes, and early. Okay, so somebody in the past used to play games. Now, it's the same kind of personality. A lot of these people, they want to go hide in a room. You don't know if they're doing drugs. You don't know if they have mental problems. You don't know what they're doing. They want to hide in a room and just close themselves off to society. And so you don't know what they're doing. So it's a similar personality. You don't really know what they're doing. They might just be fake. They might just be fake NPCs or something. Who knows what they are, what they're doing, what their goal is, motive. You try to talk to people, and you try to talk to people normal and healthy, and they're just lying through their teeth and contradicting themselves, and they're liars. But they start out talking healthy, and they've learned to be con artists. They learn to play the game. And anyway, So what I did is I said, okay, yeah, I might have to go downtown, go through the process, evict somebody and all that. So I said, you know what? I'm not going to let it stress me or worry me. I'm just going to keep playing the game and trust God that it'll work out one way or the other. And I'm using game theory, but I'm also using super forecasting because I know the past is I was raised around a bunch of unsaved. I was hanging around a bunch of unsaved. I was married to a Jezebel. I was around liars, con artists, narcissists my whole life. So I was using super forecasting to say, okay, yeah, a lot of people are down here in the flesh line, but you see a pattern that they seem to have a pretty good pattern. And so I was counteracting 30 years of life dealing with narcissism, 35 years really. And so I was saying, okay, so not everybody is like these. Now that I know, most people are selfish, don't get me wrong. Most people are in the flesh. Most people have no idea most people are liars. Most people are con artists. But the fact that I hold people, I have it on legal documents, I hold people accountable, I keep boundaries. I don't, a lot of times people say, well, what if I do the work? Can I live there if I do the work? You know what they're really saying? Can I get in there? Can I mooch off of you and get in there and I'm not going to do any work? I say no. And then they get in there, they want to cut the rent and do some work, yard work or something. I said no. You don't let it. You don't mix business with. If you got a worker, they're a worker. If you got a renter, they're a renter. You don't mix the two. They're either one or the other, because you can't go into an agreement, a legal binding agreement, and then have some other agreement in the gray area. That's what they want. Just like the narcissist, just like the Jezebel, just like the Delilah. They want gray area, just like people who want to shack up, live together. They want a gray area so they don't have to be held responsible for anything, held accountable, responsible, or anything. And so they want the gray area. And if you can avoid the gray area, then you got something. The gray area is where you get in trouble. And these people don't care about truth and righteousness and what's right and all that stuff.